Hey YouTube, welcome to Nikki's Variety Show. It's lit on this side. There's gonna be a lot of stuff, but today we're doing a Love and Hip Hop review. This is a review on season 9, episode 5, winners and losers. All right. So we start off the episode with Santana and Joe Budden. And basically, you see Joe, like, cleaning up the house. It looks wild messy. Wigs and shoes and clothes just everywhere. And he's complaining, like, oh, I thought that when we came back from wherever they went last week, that, oh, it would be, it would be amazing. I would, we would come home, she would clean, it would be lit. But I forgot where I saw this. But basically, like, when they was on vacation, Sin was saying that her and Joe still didn't, like, have sex. So I'm like, why would he think that things would go back if they didn't go back? Now, sidebar, I just want to point out the fact that I was watching Joe Budden's cutscenes, whatever they do, VH1 on YouTube, they have, like, all the scenes from all the seasons, or maybe I don't know if it's all the scenes from all the seasons, but many scenes from many seasons per character. So they have one for Joe Budden, they have one for Santana, Cardi B, etc., etc. When I was watching Joe's, you can kind of like, I don't want to jump the gun and say he's a narcissist, but he has a lot of narcissistic qualities. Like, when you look at the past and you just see how he was in his relationship with Tahiri, you see so many times where he was being manipulative and just, like, gaslighting the fuck out of her. And it was making me wonder, like, is he doing the thing where he, like, withholds sex from Sin to, like, I don't know why narcissists do the things that they do, but I'm wondering, like, is that like a thing that he's doing? Like, he's withholding sex from her for some type of narcissistic reason. I don't know. But anyways, it was just weird to me that he expected things to be different when they were the same. And I understand nobody wants to be cleaning up after another grown person. However, I feel like the things that he was doing was embarrassing. So Sin is talking to her little sisters, and one of them got a promise ring from her boyfriend, and she's 22. They've been together for 4 years, Sin said. So her sisters is, like, low-key shading her about how, like, she should have had a ring a baby ago, which I agree. Now, I know people say, like, marriage isn't for everybody and all of that stuff, but I do feel like if you have a desire to get married, I feel like there's certain things that should be thought about beforehand. Like, this is not to judge her or anybody else. I actually don't think I know anybody who's waited for marriage to have a kid. Now when I'm actually thinking about it. But I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that, all right, so basically, to me, this is marriage. Marriage is being boyfriend and girlfriend with a piece of paper that says that you're legally responsible for one another, meaning that, when people divorce, some people have to pay alimony to the ex-spouse, etc., etc. So you're legally responsible for each other. You're boyfriend and girlfriend with legal responsibility. There's things that you can't do married versus just being boyfriend and girlfriend, but I mean, like, little things like having children, having sex, living together, like, those things you don't need to be married to do. So what I'm saying is, if one party has a desire to be married, but they do everything for the other party, how can the other party, like, really have the desire to step up to give? You know what I'm trying to say? The saying goes, why buy the cow if I already get the milk for free? Basically, that's what I'm saying. But obviously, I don't know their personal relationship. I'm just speaking in a general sense. So yes, long story short, I agree that should have happened a baby ago. So Sin is like, you know, y'all ask y'all brother-in-law, so-called brother-in-law. So then Joe walks in, and this is again another red flag to me. Like the chemistry between them. So you know they're Hispanic. Well, Sin is Dominican, so you know when Hispanic people see each other, they kiss on the cheek or whatever. So he kisses her sisters on the cheek. Okay, cool. But then he literally like kisses Sin the same exact way, and she doesn't. And she's like, wait, no, give me a kiss. And then they kiss. And I'm just like, chemistry. Like I peeped it. I don't know if anybody else peeped it, but I'm also a type of person who reads into things. But I just saw like, I don't know, that was just weird to me. So blah blah blah. Sin Santana, she comments on how like her sister been with her man for 4 years and she got a promise ring, and all Sin got was a baby. I'm like, I mean, well, it takes two to tango. You didn't just get a baby. Joe just got a baby too, if you want to be technical. So switch scene. Joe meets with Safari. Joe's feeling the type of way because he feels that Safari's pretty talented and that he just gets so much attention, but it's never about his music, or it's never like positive attention. This time, Safari's over here being Twitter fingers, defending himself, because I don't know if y'all remember a couple months ago when Nicki Minaj went on Queen Radio and was talking about how Safari stole from her and she paid for his hairline and he would buy prostitutes with her money and blah 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 blah. Like, I did not listen to it. I think Joe had it on his podcast and he was playing it, and it was like, truthfully, if you defend yourself or not, like, she already said it. So the Barbs are crazy. They're gonna believe her if she said that Safari blew up the World Trade Center. Like, so it was really nothing to defend. So I agree with Joe. Not to mention the fact that Joe was trying to let them know, like, I'm speaking from experience. Like, he feels like he was blackballed. I don't know that much about his history, but I do know that he was staticky before. Like, remember, Do I Look Like I Was Left Off of Bad and Bougie? And he was about to get jumped by the Migos damn near. Like, so that kind of messed things up for him, and he had to learn to adjust his attitude to be more media friendly. And don't get me wrong, even though I feel that Joe is quite possibly a narcissist, like even down to the enabling mom, like, for sure, even though I feel like he's a narcissist, like his media personality, as a media personality, I actually really enjoy him. So anyways, we cut to Kimbella and Juju. Jewels, as we know from last week, he took the plea. Kimbella is like boxing OD, blowing off steam, you know, just really feeling all the decisions that she did not make that led her here. And when I say decisions that she did not make, I'm saying like she did not make this decision to leave this man seasons ago when we saw him mistreating her, and now seasons later, unfortunately, she's having to deal with the consequences of his own life actions and choices. So, you know, she's talking about how she feels that Jewels might not own up to his drug abuse. Well, he's not owning up to his drug abuse. So she feels that he might possibly relapse, which is a very good possibility. If he really doesn't think he has a problem, it's more likely that he will try it again, especially if he doesn't think he has a problem. But he also could have been... He probably knows that he has a problem because he talked about like the withdrawals when they did the couples therapy, but he probably was feeling like in the moment defensive, like, bro, you coming for me and we're about to like be apart from each other for a long time, like, can we just chill? So he was just trying to like cut it or whatever. So Juju was kind of like, you know, do you feel like you could have chose a different time to have the conversation? Like, it was right after the plea, blah blah blah. And Kimbella says, you know, yeah, it could have been, but she basically says that she's just so overwhelmed with the years of dealing with this that she just could not let it go in that moment. So Juju kept it a stack with her, and she's just like, you know, I kind of think that you should make peace with Yandy because she's dealing with this also at the moment, and y'all were friends, and you could really use somebody. Kim is not with it at all. Like, what are we gonna talk about? Yandy doesn't even own up to the things that she did. Sips tea. By the way, this is some coquito that's infused. It is so good. So good. Anyways, so now we pull up on Mariah Linson and Nia Lee. They're getting their toes done. A little girls' day. I was actually excited because when I watched Remy and Pap, right, it was so touching. Like, I'm crying every episode. It made me excited for the season 11 hip hop because it seemed like they was gonna be focused more on the couples instead of like the Biancas, the Mariah Lynn's, the Dream Dolls, like, you know. But in the first few episodes of this season, I'm just like, it's so much real life drama. Like, ratchet drama is so cool and entertaining, but watching somebody go through like a court case on TV, it's like downing. So I was happy a little bit to see the people who I think make the show a little ratchet, a little more down to earth. So I think they're gonna do a good mix of like positive relationships, negative relationships, friendships, etc., etc. That's the word of the day, etc. I've never said etc. this much in my life. Like, I promise you, never. So anyways, Mariah talks about how she needs to start acting right in her life because she's trying to get her career to pop. She has too many people depending on her, like her mom, her newborn sister, who's probably not a newborn anymore, her 20-year-old sister, which, no, but I understand where she's coming from. Her mom, who unfortunately is a drug addict and is very dependent on her oldest daughter. And it makes me sad for Mariah Lynn, and I really wish she would learn to let it go. I wish she would, when you have a narcissistic parent, a parent who is on drugs, a parent who truly cannot care, there has to be a point in your life where you show them, I have to put myself first. I cannot take care of you and the kids that you decided to produce. And I definitely can't take care of my 20-year-old sister because she's an adult. And I remember, which just came to my mind, that this 20-year-old sister actually has a baby that Mariah takes care of too. So it's like she actually needs to come out of that feeling of like being obligated to take care of these people, because it's probably, like, I'm sure it's pushing her and giving her something to work for, but the stress that comes from that, it would feel so much better if she just let it go. Now, Mariah's confessional wig, like, can we refer her to some YouTubers? I have one that my favorite, hair guru, hair weave killer, Ivy League Styles, Ivy Dear, Ivy. I'm pretty sure y'all know her name. If you don't, please go check her out. Her hands are blessed, and I need Mariah to pay her, because I just don't understand how, like, all these people is get into a bag and their wigs look like they just came right off a mannequin head. It's no plucking, it's no customization, no nothing, except Nia Lee. Nia's wig, it was a lace front, and the lace was undetectable. You know it's good when the lace is undetectable on day cameras that they use for Love and Hip Hop. I was so happy, like, wow, it looks so good. But anyway, Sin mentions like wanting to get back into the studio. She sings, and I actually forgot that she sang, but I remember, I don't know if it was before or after she was dating Erica Mena, that she was talking to Cisco, and he got her, I don't know if he wrote her a song, got her a record or whatever, but she was singing before, and now she wants to get back in the studio, but she's like mad that Joe is not writing for her. And I feel like that does sucks. Like, in my humble opinion, that just kind of shows that music is not actually your passion, because like when something is in you, like, even if you're mad, all right, this is what I'm gonna say, long story short, she's making excuses you're talking about you can't catch a vibe because Joe is not like writing a song for you, or like you're mad because he keeps giving the excuse that he's retired so he can't write for you. But why can't you write for yourself? Like, even if you're not a songwriter, write what you feel. Like, start yourself off. Don't sit here and rely on Joe Budden and like basically be trying to blame him if it falls through, like if he never comes through with it. So I feel like she should spread her wings on her own, look for somebody else to help you write. Like, leave, don't, no. So then Mariah's like, yeah, I know Joe, he be chatting about everybody. And then she ends up showing Sin the video of Joe cleaning up and like talking shit about her wigs and everything being everywhere. So Sin is embarrassed, and she's like, oh, everybody's gonna think I'm some little dirty bitch. And that's so hard, because it's like, okay, if that's really how you leave your wigs and things, I'm not gonna use the word dirty, but I will use the word messy. I'm definitely a messy person. I like to call my things organized mess. But I don't think I would have my wigs on the floor and stuff like that. Like, that's what was a drag. So I understand her embarrassment, but I feel like, no judgment, but be embarrassed like that all the time if that's the case. But then also, it is the privacy of your own home. I don't know, it's a lot. Joe is definitely in the wrong for that though. Like, why are you putting her business on Front Street? That's just like mad embarrassing. So now we get to Nia Lee, and then she talks about like DJ Self, and how like she feels like he be kind of shady with her. Like, he calls her sis all the time, but he doesn't support her musically. And I'm like I believe her, just because we've seen it happen with Mariah Lynn, we've seen it happen with Cardi B, and that's exactly what he was doing. Like, especially when it came to Cardi. Like, Mariah, we see that he supports her musically, he just sometimes will choose others over her. He did that with Dream Doll. But as far as Cardi, like, he was straight dubbing her music wise, and then she ended up blowing up. So Nia, don't be too mad, don't be too pressed, girl, cause Self ain't shit. Like, he seems like a weirdo. I don't know what it is about him, but he's like one of those old guys who just trying to stay young. Don't pay him no mind. You're too cute, and you could actually rap. I heard your bars. Somebody will pick you up. And if you're independent, you're still getting a bigger bag than half of these people signed to 360. So don't worry. She cries about her past, and how like she was in the club one time and random girls jumped her and sliced her, and I felt so bad. Because that's really how it be. Like, sometimes girls really just won't like another woman just because they feel like she's attractive and she's pretty and she's this and she's that. And insecurity sucks, because apparently it makes you do like crazy things. I'm gonna put more lip gloss on. But that made me sad. And then Mariah, she was like relating to her and letting her know like you have to rise above it, and how she had to like start telling herself that it's not her fault that her mom is a drug addict, and it's not her fault that her mom never could be a mom. And yo, when Mariah said that, I felt that like, big facts. It's not your fault. So you need to stop acting like it's your fault by continuing to clean up her mess. I could relate to that firsthand, and we'll also get to that in a later video when we learn more about each other, you know. So boom, we see Jonathan. It looks like he's zenning the fuck out of his house. Like, I'm like, oh, he's feng shuiing, it's lit. But he's actually mourning his dad's death, and I was like, oh, my bad. So Jonathan's dad has been dead for mad years now. He died when he was 8 years old, but I guess this is how Jonathan remembers his dad's life. So his sister comes over. He confesses that, you know, he's been going through it with the ladies, and it's because he's been mixing his anxiety medication with alcohol. And I'm like, this makes so much sense because remember when last week when he just straight up lied on Kimbella, and I was so confused. Like, you do understand that we're gonna see this, like, you're recorded. But him explaining that, I'm like, that makes much more sense than you just dead ass lying on camera. Like, so it made me feel bad for him, but I also was commending him because it takes a lot to admit that you have a problem to yourself, but it takes even more to admit it to people that you know are going to hold you accountable. That they're not just going to be like, okay, we're going to go out for a drink right now. Then, like, no, they're going to be checking on you and making sure you're good. So I actually thought that was so great. Now, I have some suspicions about Jonathan's late father. It makes so much sense to me that he's still so sad about his dad's death. Not just that it's his father, but I remember maybe last season or the season before when he was explaining how his mom sent him away to, like, gay conversion camp or whatever, and they would do horrible things to these little boys to make them ungay. And that he felt like his dad was the only one who understood him, and that his dad would sit him down like, you're different, but I understand, and da-da-da-da. And it made me think, like, was his dad, like, possibly gay and, like, hiding it? And, like, his mom was the beard, and, like, that's why she was so dead set on, like, changing Jonathan and, you know, all of this stuff. Now, that's a reach. It's a reach. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm not dragging it, but I don't know, it just makes sense to me, like, with everything. And then his sister, she said that his dad could relate to him the most, and I'm like, I mean, they're not that many years apart from each other. So I mean, at 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, because his dad died when he was 8, I can't really see, like, or understand, like, what would make you be able to relate to your son rather than your daughter. I don't know. I also don't have kids, so I don't know. So anyways, we get to Sid and Joe again. They're on their lunch date, and they talk a little bit about the music. She talks about how she wants him to write for her again. He's like, you know, I'm retired. She's like, whatever. But
I got a bone
why did you post that video? He's like, if you have a problem, then just get up and clean. I don't know what you want me to say. And she's like, well, just like you don't have time to fuck me, I don't have time to clean. And I'm like, that's childish as fuck, but I do understand where she's coming from. Like, but it's childish. Like, I feel like communicate or go your separate ways, but I'm also a very cut and dry type of person. Joe, he kind of starts to, again, the red flag to me about the narcissism, kind of like switch it, like, well, I asked you to get a nanny, and she's like, well, where the fuck do I find a nanny? Like, you want me to just hire a random and just be like, oh, watch him? No. And Joe is like, you know, I support you, and she's like, don't talk to me like a child, like you give me money for everything in life and I'm just sitting around on my ass. Like, that's not what's about to happen. Joe is tight. So we get to Yandy's scene, and DC's calls her, and he calls to let her know, like, Joelle took the plea, and I really think that you and Kimbella should really make amends. And Yandy gets immediately on the defense. She dubs it like, no, she disgraced our friendship. She's the one who did it. I didn't do anything. And truthfully, I think Yandy knows that she's wrong about something, because the way she gets so defensive, it's like, okay, for example, I've lost a friendship of 20 years, and we're going to do a story of time on that in the future. But I've lost a friendship of 20 years. I would never, like, we're not doing that, da-da-da-da-da. Like, and it was just so weird to me, like, the way she was acting, like a child, basically. And remember, she literally told Kimbella to pull up on that little boy birthday party. They're gonna say, no, I didn't, but you did. Whether you felt like Kimberly knew she wasn't getting upstairs or not, you still told her to pull up. And I felt like she didn't own up to that, and now she mad. They hang up. So then we get to Mariah Lynn. She's performing, and she actually bodied her rap. She was doing fast rapping, and she actually had great breath control, and she wasn't like stumbling over her words or nothing. And I thought that was really cool. I had seen her. I went to see Remy earlier this year in March, and or was it last year? I can't remember. But long story short, Mariah Lynn was there. Mariah Lynn opened for her, so did Bianca. And Mariah, she could not like hold her breath. So I was very happy to see that she not hold her breath, but you know what I mean? Like she had no breathing control. So I was very happy to see that she's been working on that. Safari over there was surprised too. He like, and you know, Safari with the faces. He comes over to congratulate her, and Jacquay comes over, and Safari's like, I can't even be fake right now. Mariah like, what happened? Like, what's tea? What I miss? So Safari puts her on about Cayenne saying that Jacquay, I'm so close to wanting to call him Jacques. But anyways, that Jacquay was saying that, you know, Safari getting robbed was an insurance scam. And Jacquay does like, does it look like I would say something like that? And I'm like, yes, actually it does. Because when he first asked you about it, you literally said, we're not doing this right now, and walked away, when you literally could have said, does it look like I was like, why would I say something about you? And you could have said that then, but you didn't. And so now when you're saying it now with that smug ass face, yes, I absolutely believe you said it. Like, or I absolutely believe that you would say it. So of course, in his confessional, he starts like, oh, Cayenne is just mad because we're not together anymore, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, God, okay. But they pound and make up, whatever. So Self pulls up on Nia Lee and Sin Santana. You know, they sitting down chopping it up. And Nia decides, like, you know, this is a good time to pick the bones I have to pick with this boy. So she tells him about, you know, I find it funny that you treat me like your sis, but you be doing all of this. So Self is mad confused. Like, I don't know why she looks to me like a brother. We don't know each other like that. And Nia, she kind of low-key throws like a temper tantrum, and it looks really bad. Like, she really starts going in like it's not fair type stuff. And I felt like, don't do that for this man. Like, this is exactly what he wants. He wants somebody to be begging for a shot. And his, like, I'm not saying his platform doesn't help people, but the only person I seen pop was Cardi B, and wasn't put on by him. So it just makes me hurt that she's crying over his actions of not responding to her and whatever. Sandy just listening. She just like me. Back and forth. Okay. Sipping the tea. And I just really wish Nia would just learn, you know, better emotional control, because it wasn't even worth it. She just ended up looking like salty, and she left. Hopefully, you know, this has the Cardi effect. So the last couple scenes are Jonathan. He gets the girls together because he wants to apologize to them for his behavior, which, again, I commend him, because that's hard, especially doing it in a group and just, you know, that's hard. So I definitely commend him. Claps for Jonathan. So Juju was surprised to get the message because of everything that happened with them, but she still showed up, which I respect. Jonathan pops up. He slaps it on that booty, and she makes the comment like, I knew it wasn't Joe because he don't even touch my ass like that. And I'm like, what? Like, not why are y'all together, but like, and again, I could be superficial. I'm not claiming to know their relationship or nothing, but I'm saying, if you have to beg this man for sex and then your body is brazy and he's not embracing it, and then next week we're gonna see him, okay, the editing, I don't know how it's gonna go down, but his mouth said clearly, I would be okay if we broke up. And I can't think of a scenario where that would be positive. And I feel like she should leave him. But alas, today they are engaged. So I guess we'll see next time on Dragon Ball Z. But anyways, Jonathan pops up. He understands that Kim and Yandy are on bad terms, but he still invited Kimbella because he just wanted to get it off his chest and apologize to her too. But he didn't invite s9e5 because he like, I don't know if she ready, like she might still be on one. So sidebar, Jonathan is standing there in his like profile view of his body. You could tell he got his booty done, and I'm just so like dead, like oh my gosh. But that's none of my business. But I'm gonna be talking about everything that's none of my business. This whole show isn't my business, and I just been recording for not my business. I ain't, so whatever. Anyways, you know, Jonathan explains to them about the anxiety meds and the anxiety meds and the liquor, and that he's just been going through it. And the girls, they understand and they thank him for opening up. Juju, did she apologize? I don't remember if she actually apologized, but she expressed that she did not take the deal with the podcast, that she just didn't want to be involved in something that would like ruin their friendship. Kimbella pulls up and she's surprised to see Yandy, of course. In the edit, Jonathan begins to apologize to Kimbella and explain to her like it shouldn't have got where it did with us, blah 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 blah, like I'm sorry and do you accept my apology. But again, in the edit, it didn't show him telling her about the drugs. So she goes like, you know, but the problem was that you made it seem like I did something to my friend. And we all understood except her, so he was just like, okay. So then Juju was like, all right, since we, you know, did this, since we did all of this, you know, let's address the elephant in the room, talking about Kimbella and Yandy. Yandy gets immediately on the defense. I don't need permission to be addressed. And I'm like, why is Yandy's like, where's she from, Grant? Why is her Grant coming out? Like, she needs to relax. Like, seriously, relax. It was not that serious. But she probably was feeling tension because of Kimbella. So they go over to a corner to be private, but they're dead loud. They're literally going back and forth about nothing. Like, Kimbella wants Yandy to own up to telling her to come to the party. Yandy's like, in her confessional, she's not mad about baby mothers. She's mad because I wasn't there for her when Jewels and her broke up the last time. Because I'm always in the middle. Da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, wow, Yandy, way to, like, absolve yourself of any fault whatsoever. Like, even when she was taking responsibility, she said maybe I did something wrong, and that really rubbed me the wrong way. I do feel like they're both being hella childish, but I understand more where Kimbella is coming from. Like, don't pretend like I went to fight on my own. Like, I went to fight your husband's baby's mom's on my own. And further, Kimbella feels like Yandy just be doing stuff for social media. And I don't know if that's true, but the way Yandy was talking, from my perspective and outsider's perspective, it really felt like Yandy was trying to be like, you know, you need somebody right now, so you should just take my friendship. Forget about the past and take my friendship. And I did not like that, because people really think that you need somebody so bad that you'll let them treat you any old kind of way. And it's not the case. So while I'm happy that Kimbella's standing up for herself and just, you know, standing up for her feelings, I wish she would also do that when it comes to Joel Santana, because I'm not going to talk about their relationship as of now, but before, it was not a good relationship, point blank. And that's the end of this review, y'all. This episode, it really didn't start getting lit to me till like the end. I actually wanted to do like a little box where I'm like showing y'all me watching the show, because I'm so reactive. Like anything that like I really did say yes when Jacquay was like, did it look like I did that? Like I really, like, I'm like that. So I really wanted to have a little like box situation here showing me reacting to the show in real time, or just like, you know, when I talk about certain scenes, like pull my reactions from those scenes and have them there. But the beginning of the episode, I was just looking at the TV, like just looking. And after that, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna waste my battery recording. But I feel like I'll start that up for Love and Hip Hop Miami. Or maybe I'll just start it up to practice it now with my editing skills. And then by the time Love and Hip Hop Miami comes, I'm talking about it like Love and Hip Hop Miami is not coming on next week. But anyways, that's the end of this review. My first review. My first video on this channel. I'm still editing my intro video, so stay tuned for that. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like, let me know what y'all think I could do different. Any ideas that you might have that might spice this up. Any little things like that. You will see in another review. I will start posting my reviews the night of the show's airing. I just have to learn like a time management situation to make this better. But I'm gonna get off this so I can edit it and get this up, because I'm gonna have to edit this down. It's already at 45 minutes. I know the first like 5 minutes I was doing other things, so that means it's a 40-minute video on an hour-long show, and it's not even that serious. I'm off this. Thanks for watching, and remember, my name is Nikki. Thanks for watching. Tuesday.